Hi friends, today's video I have made in response to one of the comments written by one of my YouTube subscribers. So let me first take you to his video and show you what is the query which he has in his mind. So here is the query which is written by Kavishan. He is one of my YouTube subscribers. Hi, I have a hardware store and I want to keep track of sales of different items such as paint, cement and pipes. Can you please make a video to help with this? And if you have already made a video like this, could you please share the link? So friends, today's video is in response to this query raised by Kavishan, and I've tried to make the video a bit more complex, which would answer Kavishan's query as well as it would cover some other important aspects of Power BI as well. And this I've done for the courtesy of other YouTube viewers as well. So Kavishan, hope my solution today is able to resolve what you have in mind. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into how to create the video today. So I will first show you the dashboard which we intend to create today. And this is the sales dashboard which we intend to create today. So if you see in this dashboard, there are parameters like you can give the from and end date, you can give the product ID, you can give the product name, employee name, supervisor, and you can see the corresponding revenue. You can see the total number of units sold. You can see revenue by supervisor. You can see revenue by date, revenue by employee name, sum of revenue by product name, and you can also see the summarized data in a tabular format like this. So for this example, I assume that the shop which Kavishan has is not one but multiple shops, and in each shop there are some managers or supervisors, and below the supervisors there are some employees working. So now I want to make a report which will show me supervisor wise report, within supervisor employee wise report, shop wise report, product wise report, date wise report, and so on. So for this I'm going to use 3 Excel tables. The first table is employee master, in which the fields are employee ID, employee name and supervisor. The second is the product master, in which product ID, product name and price per unit. And third is the sales data, in which you have date, employee ID, product ID and units sold. Now there are some common fields between each of these tables, like between employee master and between the sales data there is a common field employee ID. Between the employee master and the product master there is a common field called as a product ID, and this we have maintained so that we can maintain a link between all the 3 tables, that is employee master, sales and the product. So all these things we'll be studying while creating this report today. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into creating the dashboard in Power BI. Now let us see how to create this dashboard from scratch. So first I will click on File and I will select New. Next we will close this opening screen. And the first thing which we would do is we would add data to our report. So I will click on Import Data from Excel, and then I would point to the location where my data is present, and I would select my file and click on Open. So it will give me a message, please wait while we establish a connection to the sales database. Now it will show me that in that file, Excel file whose name was sales data, there are 3 worksheets. First is employee master, second is product master, and third is sales data. Now it is asking me that you want to import data from which out of these three sheets. Now I want to import the data from all the three sheets. So I will select first, second, and third, all the three sheets. It will show me a small preview of the data. So remember, your data might contain infinite rows, but in preview, it will just show you a small snapshot of the contents of each of the three files. Now, after this, I will just click on Transform Data. Now, this will transfer all the data into the Power Query. So we'll go into Power Query and we'll check the contents of all the three files. So here you can see that we are now into Power Query, and in Power Query the three tables are getting loaded. Now here you have the three tables, starting with the employee master, in which the fields are employee ID, then the employee name, and then the supervisor. Also keep an eye on the top. Over here, this 1, 2, 3 indicates that this is a numeric field. This ABC indicates it is a character field, and this ABC over here is supervisor field. So in the employee master, you have employee ID, employee name, and the list of the supervisor names. Then you have the product master. In the product master, you have the product ID. Again, it is a character field. The product name, which is a character field, and the price per unit. If you want, you can click on these numbers 1, 2, 3 where it is written, and you can say that I want it as a phone number or as a decimal number. So we'll take it as a decimal number. So it will ask you, do you want to replace the current? I will say yes, replace the current. So in a short while, it will replace these current values with the decimal values. Okay. You can also click over here. You can see now it is showing you decimal. If you select fixed decimal number like this, it will ask you, do you want to replace the current? I will select replace the current. So it will show you the fixed decimal place, and it will show you a currency sign. So we prefer this. This is good. So we'll select this. Remember, the option we selected was fixed decimal number. Then comes the sales data. In the sales data, you have the date field, you have the employee ID, you have the product ID, and you have the number of units sold. Now, after we are sure that the data is proper, we can click on close and apply and return from Power Query back to Power BI. Now remember, in Power BI, you have three main options on the left side. The first option over here is called as a report suite, where you will design the dashboard. The second option is where you can see the tables, contents of the tables. And the third is where you can see or set the relationships between the table. So let us wait till the tables are getting loaded from Power Query back to Power BI. So the tables have got loaded: employee master, product master. So you can see this is your dashboard view. Let's just give it some time. So this is the dashboard view. Then this is the data view where you can see the contents of the three tables. You can see this is the employee master, and in a short while it will populate the data and show you the data over here as well. Then you have the product master where it will show you the product details, and then you have the sales data. And finally, you have the third view, which is the model view. So in the model view, you can see that Power BI has already established the relationship between the three tables. So I will just minimize this and take this table up so you can see it clearly. So it has set a relationship from employee master to sales data based on employee ID, and from sales data to product master based on the product ID. Now the beauty of this relationship is that once the relationship is established, you can use the fields from any of these three files and you can see the net result. Example, in my sales data, supposing I would like to have one field like revenue, and that revenue would be a calculated field which would be the product of price per unit into units sold. So how to create that calculated field, that we will see next. So for that, we will go into our report view, and here you can see you have the sales data. So on the sales data, I will right click over here, and here you have an option called as new column. So I click on new column. Now it is asking me the name for that column, and here also you can see one new field is created called as column. So I will just change the name to revenue. So revenue equals to, and then it is asking me the formula. It would be equal to price per unit into unit sold. So I will select unit sold, which is from the sales data field itself. So I can just click over here and type unit sold multiply by, and now since I want a field from the product master, and that from the product master I want a field whose name is price per unit. So I will type over here related, because there is a related table. Or I give a open bracket, and I will select product master price per unit, and I will close the bracket. So revenue is equal to, from the sales table, units sold multiplied by product master table price per unit. Then I'll click on enter, or I'll click on this check mark, and you will see that one field gets created called as revenue. So you can see it is working on it. And now you can go into the table view, data view, and here you can see one field is created called as revenue, which is actually a calculated field which is a product of unit sold into price per unit from product master. Now let us go ahead into the report view and start designing our dashboard. So first thing which we would like on the top, to create a text box. So just take a look at the original table. Here you can see there is a box over here, a rectangular box, and inside that there is a text box called as sales dashboard. So let's create that. So in order to create that rectangular dashboard, we will first click on insert, and in insert you have these shapes, and in the shapes you have this rectangle. So I select this rectangle, and then I will stretch this rectangle from one end of the table to the other end of the report, like this. Now I want to change the colors over here. So whenever you're designing dashboards, you should always select a particular theme of colors. So for this, what I do, I use a website called as Adobe Color. So I will just go to Google, and in the search box, I will type Adobe Color, and I'll click on the first link. And from here, I'll click on Explore. And then you can type the name of any color scheme you prefer. So suppose I prefer some dark colors. So I will select dark colors and I will hit enter. So it will show me a palette of colors. I prefer this palette. So I click over here. Now suppose I want to give this color as a background. So I'll click on copy. So it copies the code for that color in the memory. And then I can revert back over here and I can change this fill color. In order to change this fill color, first click on the visual. After that, click on format. And in format, you have these options like general. In general, if you want to give title, you can give title. If you want to give effects, you can give the effects. Visual border, you can give the visual border. Same way you have shape. So we click on the shape, it is rectangle. We want to give a rounded border, you can give a rounded border. We want to give a style, so here you have the fill color. So I'll click on this drop down, I will select more colors. And over here in this box, I will press Ctrl V and it will paste that shade from Adobe Color and I'll click outside. So that comes over here. Now inside this, I want to type Sales Dashboard. So I'll click on Insert and select text box, and a text box comes over here. In this text box, I will type Sales Dashboard. Then I will select the entire text and I will select the font from here. So I will select the Segoe board and I will select the font size something like 36 and I will center align it. Okay. Now I want to change the color of this font to white color. So again, I will click over here on this font color and make it to white. After that, I will move this control on the top over here. Now it is not showing us the data because the background is also white. So I will change that. So in the general, you have properties, you have title, you have a header, that is correct. We don't want to do anything over there. So here you have effects and here you have transparency. So I make the transparency to 100%. So the text is now visible to us. Now I click outside. Okay, and you can move this up or down or adjust the width of the text box so that it looks proper and centralized. Okay, so now our sales dashboard, the first part is over. Now the next what we want to do, we want to make this control. This is called as the slicer control, and inside that you have the date. Okay, and also note that there is one graphic illustration over here, by clicking on which it should take me into the second table. So that also we have to insert here. So we come back over here. In first insert the slicer. So in order to insert the slicer, you have a vision over here called as the slicer. I click on this vision and that vision comes here, and I adjust the width of the vision, the height of the vision, bring it to a location where I want that vision should come, and then it is asking me what you want in that particular field. So I want date. So I'll click on date and drag and bring over here. So you can see the date has come over here. I will just zoom it so that you can get a closer view. And now I want to format this vision. So let us see how to do that. So ensuring that this is selected, I click on format your vision. Now over here you have the slicer settings. So I click on the slicer settings. So slicer heading is on, that is where it is written as date. Okay, you can click on this drop down. You can change the font name. So I will select Savoy UI Bold. Okay, and I will make the size as 10. Okay, font color at the moment let it be black. Then it is asking me what is the background color you want to give. So I click over here, and now for the background I would like to give this color. So I will copy this. I'll come back to my vision, and in this more colors I will press Ctrl V to paste that in the background. So you can see it's pasting it only for that background. Now I don't want to paste it only for that header. I want for the entire vision. So what we do, we just make it back to white. Let it be white only. And if you want to change for the whole vision, then click on General. In General, you have Effects. In Effects, you have Background. In Background, you have More Color. And here you can press Ctrl V to paste, and it pastes for the entire vision. Okay, now we have to change this inner text color and the color for that date control as well. So we'll come back to visual, and in this visual it is asking me what color you want to give for this date field. So let us see how it is. So here it has to be white only, and so let's see. So this has to be transparent. So in the background it will be let's select the same color for the background, and for the text color we will select it as white. Okay, now so that was for our option for the slicer header. Then we come to values. In the values, again it is asking me what color you want for the values. So here I want to give it as white so that the text is clearly visible. And now these corners are there. I want to make them rounded. So I'll click over here. I'll click on Format Vision. Click on General. Click on Effects. And in Effects, you have Vision Border. Turn it on. And click on this arrow. And change it to something like 10 pixel. So you will see you get this rounded border. Then you can adjust the width or the height of this vision so that it looks appropriate with reference to your entire dashboard. So our first vision is ready, that is the date. Now we have 4 more visuals: product ID, product name, employee name, and the supervisor name. So what we will do, we will select this, we'll press Ctrl C copy and press Ctrl V once, then Ctrl V twice, thrice, and 4 times. Now we bring these controls to wherever I want them. So suppose I want them slightly here, then the next control, then the next control, and then the next control. Now I want to distribute them evenly between this and the last. So I'll select each of the control by pressing Shift. I'll select each of the control like this. Then I will click on Format, and there you have Align, and here I'll say Align Top. Then I will say Align and Distribute horizontally, so they get equally placed. Now in the second control, let us see what we want. So in the second control, I want product ID. So we come over here and we select the second visual. And now instead of date, I want the product ID. So I remove this date and I select product ID and bring it here. So you have the product ID come over here. You can see the product ID field is there. Now you have to format this. So just see over here how it is. So it is in the form of a drop down and not in the form of that checkbox. So only when you click on this drop down, then you get these details. So let us see how to get that. So again we come here, select our visual and click on this format your visual. Now here you have the slicer settings. So here it is asking you, do you want a vertical list or do you want a drop down? So I select I want a drop down. So now it will be in the form of a drop down. Then it is asking me for the other options. So let us see what are the other options. So see, always ensure that your visual is selected. Then back to slicer settings. So it was drop down. Then for the selection, single selection on. Then for the slicer header, it is product ID, it is correct. Segovi 10, that is also correct. Border background, that is also correct. Then comes the values. So values you want in which color? So again, I want values in white color so that the values are okay. Now see, when you have values in white color, they are not visible. So have the font color to black. Now you will see that now the values are visible to us. Then you have the background color. Okay, so Currently there is no background. If we select let's say this color as a background, then you can see that every time you fill, it's filled with this color. But we have to always use a color which rhymes with our theme. So in our theme, the color closest is this. So we select copy. We come back over here. We come back to this background. We select more color. Control V, paste. And now it rhymes with the color now rhymes with our theme. And we can select whichever control we want from here by clicking on it. So this was the product ID. Now anything. Now over here I want product name. So I click on the second mission. I delete the date field and I click on this product master, and from here I select product name. So you will get the product name. Again, I want a product name in the form of a drop down. So format your vision. You have to come to slicer settings, and from here you select drop down. So it becomes a drop down. Now change the details of the control. So you can click on values. In the values, you can see how you want font color, let it be in black. And then the background, we change the background color, more color. And we paste that same color which is there in the memory. And now you can select the product name from here this way. Okay. Now let us see what is the third option. So product ID is done, product name is done. Now employee name and supervisor name. So again, it is very simple. In the same way, you click here and again come on your vision, delete the date vision, and from employee master, select employee name and bring it over here. Then click format visual and then select drop down list. Then format it. So come to values and change the background color, more color, control need this. Control V, paste, and we got it. Now let us try to make this text white and see how it looks. So in this values, where the font color is black, let's make to white. And so I think this is more sharper. So let's do for the others also. Others also we select this control and we change the font color to white, and this control and we'll change the font color to white. Okay, so you have the product ID properly visible, product date properly visible, employee name properly visible. The date you can click over here and you can select the date from here and from here, or you can use this control also for moving to the left and right and adjusting the start and the end dates. Now over here I want the last control, supervisor name. So click over here and come into your visual, remove the date field and select the supervisor field. Again, format visual, select drop down list, then values, and change the font color to white, and background color, more color, Control V, paste. So you have supervisor names, you have employee names, you have product ID, product names, you have product IDs, and you have start and end dates. So one of our dashboard is ready. Now let us see what we need next. Now the next thing which we want is, we want one card over here which should show me the sum of the revenue. So we will come over here and you have one control which is called as the card control. So click on this card, that vision will come here. Bring it to the location where you want it to come and just drag the revenue field over here. So instantly you get the sum of revenue. Just ensure that nothing is selected over here. Okay. Now what we want one search box also over here. So it is very simple. Click on the control and over here on these three dots, if you click, you will get this search box. So now when you click on this drop down, you will get one search option also where you can type the name of the product ID. Let's do that for this also. For product name also, we'll click on these three dots and I want a search box. So I get a search box for product name also. And same way for employee name, I want a search box. So now for employee name also, I have the search box. Now for the supervisor, search box is not needed because there are only 4 supervisors in the organization. So I don't need any further supervisors. And just clear the selections. Okay, so none of the selections are selected. Only this data. Let us see whether the number is matching. So yes, it is matching. Now we will format this visual. So to format the visual, select the visual, click on bind visual. And first we'll change the background color. So we come over here and we want this background color. So I'll copy this, come back to our control, click on general, click on effects, click on background color, select more, Control V, paste. So the background color is changed. Now I want to change the text color to white. So come to mission and you have the call out value. Click on this drop down. Font name, you change it to Savoy UI bold. And color, you change it to white. And you can adjust the size of this control this way. Same way you have the category label at the bottom. Click over here. Again, change the color to white. So you have this sum of revenue, and I want rounded corners. So click on General, Effects, Visual Borders, turn it on. Click on this arrow, and rounded corners, make it to 10 pixels. So this control is also ready. Sum of revenue. Now we want sum of units sold. So we will select this control, Control C copy, and Control V paste, and just paste it over here adjacent to it. And I want units sold, so I will delete this sum of revenue, and units sold I'll bring it here. So I have the units sold. Only thing is that I want it with 2 decimal places. So ensure that the control is selected. Ensure that the visual is selected. You have this format. So you have sum of units sold. You click on this format your vision. Here you have the call out value. And here you have value of decimal places. So I make it to 2. So I get the sum of units sold. So this control is also ready. So this is done. Now over here, I want another graph over here called as the donut graph. So I will click over here and I will select the donut graph. Then I will adjust the donut graph as big as I want. Keep some space at the bottom for that scroller. See, we want the donut graph. In that I want supervisor wise revenue. So I will adjust this bit like this, and it is asking me what data you want to show in values, what you want in the legend. So I want the supervisor name in the legend and revenue in the values. Right? Now I want a drill down report in which along with the supervisor, I want within the supervisor how much revenue the employee has made. So I'll select the employee name and bring it below the supervisor. So now you will see that you get this drill down options. I will just zoom it close by so that you can see it better. So I can click on any of the graphs. Like suppose this is the supervisor whose name is Sunil Sharma. And I can click on drill down. So within Sunil Sharma, whoever employees are there, it will show me these are the employees and the revenue made by each of the employees under Sunil Sharma. Again, I can come outside, drill up, and I can select this second supervisor, Kavya. Okay, I can click on drill down and see Kavya details. Again, come up. Same way I can see for the third supervisor, Arjun Singhania. Again, come up. So in this way, you can see for each of the supervisors. Now let us format this control. So
So we'll take this two a bit on the top. So I press shift, select both the controls and take it on the top. Then I select this control and size it up like this. Then I want to change the header. So I select format your vision, and there you have the legend. So you have the text and you have the title. So title is supervisor. This is the legend title, that is correct. And here you have general. In general, you have title, sum of revenue. This is the title. What is the font you want? So I want Savoy World. Okay, and what is the size you want? So let's make it 10 or 11 is good. And then you want it in the center. So you selected center. And you want a background color. So you select the background color. And you want to change the text color. So change the text color. And you want rounded corners. So come to effects. And in effects, you have visual border. In visual border, you turn it on and make it to 10 pixels for the visual border. So you get 10 pixels visual border. Now legend text, I want to make it black. So select the control. Again, come to format vision, legend, text, color, dark black. So this has to change to dark black, this one. Then you have the title, supervisor. Then you have the slices, the color for the respective slices. The spacing is appropriate. Details, we want it outside or inside, how you want it. So that's perfect. So that was for the legend. Then you have for the values. So change the color of the values to black. Okay, and change the font to Savoy. Okay, it's all right. So this is also perfect. We don't want to rotate it. So legend is done, slices is done, details, labels, that is also done. And in general, you have properties, you have given the title, you have given the effects, tool tips we don't want, alternate tips we don't want. Anything else? Let's just take a look. Right. Okay. So our next control is done. This finishes end of part 1 video. We will see the balance part of creating the dashboard in part 2.